Hello, lawnographers, TCAPists, people of that nature. I thought I'd do a little video today, talk about Lorne, the scripture, the Holy Scripture, and I haven't read all of it. I know these videos have been done before, analyses and everything, but I've been in the community for around a year, maybe over, maybe under, can't really remember, and I haven't really contributed at all, video-wise. And while I do enjoy the comedy side more than the analysis, I thought I'd give my hand at the analysis and tell you what I think about Lorne. Now, I haven't read all the Holy Scripture. I've listened to some of Sharman's holy readings, comedy gold, right? But it's not about the comedy today. It's about, it's about examining Lorne. So, I've wrote a little bit of it's not really a paragraph, a bit of text here. Lorne is a living example of compartmentalisation. He knows it's bad. He knows a 36-year-old man shouldn't be with a 13-year-old girl, let alone even discuss the things that he discusses with them, but he puts that to the back of his mind so he can manipulate her, so he can continue manipulating her. Now, like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm not sure if I've got these definitions of these words correct, but sometimes it's good to have a word to put on things. It makes it easier to explain. So, compartmentalisation is basically, it's when you put something to the back of your mind. You ignore a fact, a belief, an opinion for a moment so it doesn't bother you. So you don't run into an existential crisis. This is a good example. This is death. Everyone's going to die. What can you do about it? Nothing. This whole digital morality, futuristic thing's bullshit because one day the universe will end, inevitably. And there's nothing you can do about it. It will run out of energy, it will end, and you will die. Everybody will die, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Now, we don't think of this every single second, because our minds put it to the back, because if you did think about it every few seconds, you wouldn't be able to realistically continue with your life. It would be like a cloud over you constantly. So this is what Lorne does with his opinions, because he knows it's bad. I don't think Lorne's not evil by nature. He's not evil by nature. He's not even evil. He's just stupid, So he puts that opinion to the back of his head because he wants Keela so much. He wants this delicate little flower so much that he has to ignore this fact. So I've gone through. That's just a little bit of an exposition for you, but let's continue. And I've highlighted some things here. I mean, first, my text is in green, his is in red. It says here, if no one will talk to you, sweetheart, you can talk to me. I'm a good guy. I have 2 nieces your age. Now, this is literally straight away. He's straight away with that reeling her in, like a fucking, like a cod, like a cord, reeling her in like a fish, and that, he says here, I'm a good guy. Go online, type in Reddit, girls, what do you hate most about guys? And they'll say, it's when a guy thinks he's a good guy and he thinks he deserves something because of it. I mean, do I need to say anything about that? The 2 nieces thing, he goes into more detail about it because he wants to get that in before he says he's 36. You know what I mean? He wants to sort of make it clear that he's clean. Are you clean? He wants to make sure he's clean before he friggin' gets into it, but he's not. It's just straight from the start. Straight from the start. So I've highlighted some more stuff here. Let's scroll down a bit. You're probably seeing this as screenshots, but because that's just how my recording thing works. But alright, it says here. What do you think is cool about me? Because Kayla says, "Oh, how lucky I am I met you, and how cool I have a BF, and such a cool BF I have." And Lorne says to this, "What do you think is so cool about me?" Now, this should be okay if it was in a playful way of asking, but Lorne doesn't ask it in a playful way, and you can tell he doesn't because it's his character, it's who he is. Seeking validation is something that you can see throughout his entire chat log, and I think that's what people hate the most. People don't hate Lorne as much for his crime, they hate him more for his shamefulness, for the way that he goes about it. What do you think is cool about me? He's, and then if you look below, like what? Name one thing. LOL. The use of LOL, he uses the LOL a lot because it makes it seem more kiddish. It makes what he's saying seem more of a joke when it's not. Lorne knows what he wants to hear, and he knows what she's going to say. He just wants that validation, and that's the key. That's the main theme throughout this whole thing. It's Lorne's validation, and it's what makes me think, and a lot of people think, that he's never been serious. He's never had a serious, relationship. He's maybe when he was younger, a few very, very short-lived ones, but it's his neediness, his sort of shallow. And you know what? I can identify with that because I think everyone's been like that before to some extent. Everyone's experienced these. Everyone's done something shameful before, but Lorne takes it to a fucking different thing. So he says here, "You forgot to say I have a nice blank." Now I can't say that because there are people in the house and they'll think I'm a friggin' weirdo. But I've wrote here, grooming, hammering it into his mind that making her enjoy it as much as he enjoys showing it. Trying to make it seem like he's not a weirdo. Validation, he's not a pervert because she wants to see it. It's her fault, not just his. Now, a great thing, I think it's called Schroeder's joke. I think that's the term for it. When you say something seriously, and then when it gets a negative reaction, you make it seem like it was a joke, to light it, to dampen the blame. Now, when you make it look like someone's interested in something, but you're really the one who's interested in it, it makes you not look like a weirdo. It makes him not look desperate. He's doing this because, one, he's probably pissed off that she didn't mention it, but two, because if it makes it look like she's the one who wants to see it, it takes a little bit of the blame off him. It makes him not look desperate. He doesn't want her to think that it's him who wants to show her it. It's not him who wants to show it, it's her who wants to see it. That's what he wants. Because if he lets himself be seen as desperate, that's it, the jig is up. The fucking game's up for him. Because he's... And again, he's interested in Kayla, possibly not because she's 13, but because she's inexperienced. And he is as well, but because he's the man, not to get sexist here, but because he's the man, because he's the male, and because he's older, he can take charge. He can be the experienced one even when he's not. He likes Kayla because she's a delicate little flower. Because she's impressionable. You know what I mean? Because she's innocent. That's why he likes her. Because she's like him, but he can have some sort of control over her. And again here, you look down here. Can't wait to have your hands on it, huh? That's just said as a statement, but really it's a question. The "huh" makes it a literal question in disguise, trying to pass it off as rhetorical. It's not a real question, the way he's saying it, but it is. He's seeking the validation. He wants her to say yes. He's expecting her to say yes, because, again, the decoy never really shows any interest in Lorne's, voyeurism, I guess. I don't know what the word is for it. They never really show interest in it. And that annoys Lorne. Lorne wants her to show interest, so he's got to sort of push it a little bit, but not too much that she'll, get that it's getting him excited. He wants her to think that she's the one who likes it. You know what I mean? He doesn't want her to think that it's all about him, when it actually is all about him, because then the jig is up. The jig is up. And let's go through a little bit more. Let's look for some more stuff. Again, I know you're probably seeing this as screenshots, but okay. It says here, alright, what are you going to be thinking about tonight when you're laying in bed? He knows what she's going to say, and he knows what he wants her to say. He's not asking her that because he's interested. He's asking her that because he wants her to validate him. He wants her to validate it. You know what I mean? He's saying this because it gets him off. Really, that's it. And the thing is, the thing about Lorne is I wonder, is Lorne acting this way because she's 13? Is he really this stupid? You know what I mean? Like, is his manipulation? I mean, his manipulation, you know what I mean? It literally is childlike. You can see through it like fucking glass. Like fucking glass. You can see through it. It's so obvious. And that's what makes people angry. His shamelessness. The fact that he really thinks that she can't see this. Well, obviously, as a character, she can't see what he's doing, but we all know what he's doing. You know what I mean? You can see exactly what he's doing. And I wonder, is it because she's 13? Does he know how obvious it is? If it was a woman his own age, would it be as obvious? Would he make it so obvious? And that's the interesting thing. And here it says, are you wishing you could be sucking on my blank and me rubbing your blank? I feel uncomfortable just saying it. But, you know, he knows what she's going to say. He knows what she's going to say. He just wants to hear it. He's like picture a man in a desert. He's dehydrated, and you throw him a sponge that's just been in a bucket of water. He's going to squeeze that fucking sponge over his mouth to get as much moisture out of it as he can. And he's going to keep doing it. He's going to keep squeezing it. Even when there's barely anything in it, he's going to keep squeezing it for more and more to get more and more out of it. Lorne is doing this. Lorne is using the same phrases again. Are you anxious to touch my penis? Are you anxious to see me? Do you want to see it again? You know what I mean? He uses the same phrase. I'm anxious to see you. He uses the same phrases again and again to try and squeeze that last little bit of pleasure out of them that he can. And let's go down a little bit more here. That's why you only get 5 minutes to play with Bud before you're... I mean, you know, you can see it there. He's treating it like it's a game. Like it's a game. Because she's 13, he treats it like it's a game. You know what I mean? And people have talked about him using Bud as a grooming tool, and I agree to some degree. You know, I agree with that. But the validation, it's key throughout this thing. Validation is just the thing that he seeks the most. And it's what makes me think that Lorne hasn't had anything serious before. Because everyone's been in that situation where, you know, it's sort of, you get interest shown in you, and then it becomes crazy. You want more of it. You want it like crazy, you know? And that's what Lorne is. That's what Lorne is. Let's go up a bit more here. When we get to the interstate, you can blank on my blank too. Now, this is, right, I know I'm reusing phrases here, but this is the pinnacle of it. This is the absolute pinnacle of it. A man would not chat with a woman for this long if he was just interested in a one-night stand. He would if he was interested in romance, but that's not what it is with Lorne. Lorne wants this girl as basically a slave. Stockholm Syndrome, that's what he wants. He wants to trick her into that, so he can have her permanently. If you were romantically interested in a girl and you spoke this long for her, you wouldn't want her to do this to you on the first day that you met her. Because not only is that, you know, you would want to know her as a person. You wouldn't want to get straight into that, because that just sort of, well, it's degrading, really. It's degrading, innit? If you romantic relationship and you do that the first time. And the fact that it's the very act that it is as well means it, you know, proves that. It plays to that. The very act it is as well. You know, it's sodomy. And I'm not saying it's wrong or that it's bad, but it's a one-sided action. It's something that he's going to enjoy and she's probably not going to as well, because she's 13, you know? And it's sort of, it's just, you know what I mean? It shows how this whole thing is just about getting her as a slave, basically. Lorne thinks he's in love, but he's not. He's in the early stages of limerence. It's a crush. When you're young and you have a crush, you think it's love, but it's not. It's not. It's because it's your first heavy feelings to a woman. You know, of course. Of course you're going to think it is. You don't know any better. And this is what makes me think that Lorne hasn't had any, you know, experiences with that before, because of the way he acts, because of how he, after 9 days, he thinks it's, you know, true love. You know, so, yeah, that's what I think. That's my opinion on Lorne Armstrong. I think that he likes Kayla because she's inexperienced like him and he can take charge. I think that he's mistaken about his own feelings, and he's just unlucky. He's just a sad individual. He's just an unfortunate individual. That's what he really is. He's the embodiment of all these traits that you don't want. You know, you don't want to be 37 and have no money, and, you know, you don't want to have a relationship with someone online that you can never meet. You don't want to be bald. You don't, you know, I mean, it sounds stupid, but you don't. No man wants to be bald. No man. Well, most men don't want to be. And you don't want to be 37 and suddenly realise that it's your dream to be a country singer when it's too late. It's too late. You know, I know how that feels. I know how it feels. Very recently, in the last couple of years, I've become interested in performing arts, and you know what I mean? And I'm nearly 20. I'm 20 this year. So I've just hit that stage where I can still get into it and it's not too late. It's not too late for me to get into it, you know. And I've made that gap. But Lorne hasn't made that gap. He's too old for it now. He's too old to be a country singer. You know, he's left it too late. And now that he's a sex offender, fucking hell. You know what? It's not the 80s anymore, mate. Sex offenders don't become celebrities now. At least not registered ones. So, yeah, Lorne Armstrong. Shameful manipulation that you can see through, like, fucking stained glass windows. You can't see through stained glass windows. Well, whatever. But yeah, I don't hate Lorne. I'm not a Lorne sympathiser. It's just the shameful way in which he manoeuvres himself that annoys me. So that's my opinion on Lorne and the Holy Scripture. If you enjoyed this, let me know. Maybe I'll do more. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.